Hey, Dad, you there?
Yeah, I am. Can you
How,
hear me?
yeah, I can. How's it going?
So far, so good.
Haha, good. I appreciate you taking time to call in. I
I'm,
really glad to have you on the air.
I'm happy to do it.
I appreciate it. So, I thought for all the listeners out there, we let them know that you've had a long career in real estate. If you want to just give a little bit of background of where you've been and how you've done it and managed to succeed so well in real estate.
Well, it started in 1984. That's when I got my license, and originally I was just going to be an investor with my friend, and so he encouraged me to go in and get my schooling in, and then pass the exam, and we would go ahead and start investing. Well, after about a year, we ended up, I think, being one of the top salespeople in the office, and we really liked it. So we were both in another field in retail. So we, at that point, really wanted to get out of retail and then get into a position where we can, whatever we do, that and how successful we are is based on our own work. And so there's no limit to really what kind of income or how hard you want to work, but you got a return for it. As opposed to being in the jobs we were in, which we both did really good at, but you get compensated the same whether you're a superstar or just somebody that is just showing up for work.
What does it take to be a superstar in real estate, Dad? I mean, what are the traits you're seeing that these agents have?
Well, that's a good question. And sometimes it surprises me. You basically it's you have to have the ability to communicate and to be able to you have to be an expert in a lot of different facets of real estate, and so when you're working with somebody, I guess the number one thing is you want to be trusted, and you've done really well with real estate, and you know as well as I do that it's really a service business. It's sharing knowledge that you have, and really caring about whether it's a house that you're selling, you're trying to get the most amount of money, or whether it's a first-time buyer or a buyer that's bought 20 houses. I mean, you want to understand what their goals are, and you just do your best to fulfill those goals. So, what makes somebody a superstar? I would say, how well they listen, and how much they educate themselves on the market. And again, I mean, they're just to get your license, you're going to pass an exam. It's with 90 clock hours, but that's just the very beginning, and a lot of that education really isn't too much for you when you're actually getting out there and selling real estate. So, what makes a superstar? Got to have a lot of confidence, a lot of caring for the people that you work with. You got to have it's an emotional business. You're dealing with their biggest purchase, so a lot of people, it's scary for them. And because you are closely connected with that whole process, you're going to feel the joys of finding something that they fall in love with. And, I've got people that, I sold them a house 30 years ago, and they're still living in it. So, and the ones that maybe have been in there 10 years or 20 years, and they turn around and sell it, and they've made a lot of money. But it's a fun, rewarding career. And it's, just like any other career that somebody starts, this one is just like starting your own business. I mean, the brokerage will certainly do their best to help the individual, but, you have to be able to manage your time and pick yourself up when bad things happen, and be there as a counselor. There's just so many different things that, there was an article that I read that had all of the things that a good realtor does for their client, and it's everything.
Yeah, the agents have to wear a lot of hats, that's for sure. And so those superstars, they have that ability for people to know and trust them, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and they're fascinating to be around. They're very positive. They don't let, because anything, whether it's real estate or any other career. I mean, there's highs and lows. And
Yeah.
I think the people that I've noticed that have done best are just very positive. They when there's a roadblock or a problem, they're not down about it. They're just excited to figure out a way to get it solved. And I think that's true for anybody really, Tyler. I think if you have the attitude that whatever you're going to throw at me, I'm going to do a good job in taking care of it, and making it as successful as I can be. And I think that's what you see.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there, Dad. Listeners just joining us, I got my dad on the phone, Ken Freed with Windermere Real Estate. He's been in the business a very long time. Dad, why don't you tell us a little bit about you were a managing broker for a while down at South Center, and then you have had your designated broker's license for a long time and opened up some offices. Give us some background on that.
Well, I started in Kent in a small real estate office, and then from there I was recruited to join Windermere in Kent, and I was recruited in as an assistant manager, an associate broker, and then from there, as a manager, you still sold, and so there was an opportunity that came up in Renton that was down by South Center, and I started a brokerage firm from scratch, and was fortunate to have a great core of people that I worked with that created their own energy, and couldn't wait to bring other people in that wanted to share that same feeling of winning, or whatever that word is. And we grew and grew and ended up being the number one office in South King County in just I think like 5 or 6 years, which is quite an accomplishment. And then at that point, I was going to go to Arizona and start Windermere franchise down there. And in the process of doing that, and things were, at that point in Arizona, they were really, really busy. But in the process of doing that, an opportunity came up in the Bonnie Lake area, so we started an office there. That grew very quickly, and then we opened up another office in Auburn, around the Lake Taps area in the Lakeland Hills. And then we grew that, and then, strangely enough, I went back to an opportunity came to purchase the Kent Windermere franchise, which was where I started, but in a different location. So we were there at that location for a year, and then we ended up finding another location down in the Kent Station, which has been a lot of fun to work down there. There's a lot of foot traffic and a lot of buzz.
Pretty fun how everything came full circle for you, Dad.
Yeah.
The market, everyone knows it's going great right now. There's a lot of successful people doing real estate right now, especially in our greater Puget Sound area. What would you say to people that are doing the 9 to 5 that were like you, 30 years ago, to come and join real estate? What would your message be to them? How to get going on that?
Well, if I take my own experience, like I said, I did retail for a long time. It was retail grocery, and I did good at it, and I liked it. And but I transferred around to different stores, and it just at that point in my life, I was your age. That I just really want to do something that I can grow, and it's not routine, and I can't be, I don't want to be limited on what my income could be, or how hard you want to work. And so it was a breeze, really, because in the retail business, and I'm sure there's a lot of listeners out there that would nod their head. I mean, if you're salary in retail, you're pouring in the hours, and the business could be sold, or it could shut down, and then you're out of luck, and then you go, what do I do now? So that motivated me to make that move, and I would say that. It's an 80-20 thing, Tyler. It's really 20% of the agents do 80% of the volume.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a believer that you can be in that 20% good, solid work habits. And those opportunities are out there. And like you said, I started in '84, and everything was, that's when interest rates were, 15%. And then they steadily went down, down, down forever. And then there were a couple peaks and valleys, but it's the worst part of it, I think, was during the 2007, August of 2007. That's when things with lending and lending practices and just the prices of homes were so inflated, artificially inflated, because anybody could get a loan at that point. So then we went through from '08 to, I think the lowest point was December of 2011 in most charts that I've seen. And since December of 2011, prices have gone up. And if homes go up 4 to 5% a year on average, and you can go on Zillow and you can look and see what these 10-year averages are. You can see that it has still a ways to climb, and then back to peaks and valleys. But it's a pretty good, and it's a surety, pretty much, that if those words go together, that homes are always going to go up because there's only so much real estate around. Did I answer the question?
No, you did.
I don't know if I answered the question, but
no, I'm glad you talked about that, because it's very interesting. Even if you take in consideration the bubble and everything, if you go back years before, it's always about 5% as the average. It's amazing how close that is. So
yeah, it went up so quickly in such a short period of time, and then we all thought it was going to go. We didn't think this would happen. We didn't think we'd have that major of a correction, but there were a lot of things going on behind the scenes that. Hindsight's 20/20. Now you look back, okay, well, yeah, that makes sense. But right now, it's a good career because we're back to kind of what I would say is somewhat normal. We have a very small supply of inventory, but that's going to drive your prices up. And interest rates are still, what, Tyler?
They're incredible. I mean, low fours. It's amazing. It's amazing.
So it's really a no-brainer for a buyer, because you got the rates are some of the lowest in history. You've got a pretty good feeling that prices are going to go up, and you can see it. Just like I said, go to any Zillow chart or any data that shows that. It's such a good investment. It's just a great career. I would encourage anybody that was at least curious about it to give you a call, and kind of go through what the expectations are.
And it seems like a majority of the people that are really successful, they've got connections in the community, whether it be their church or like when you started. I mean, you've sold a ton of homes to people that you worked with in the past in the retail business. And for me, having the connections from college has just been so huge. And it could be someone that's, been a waitress at a restaurant for the last 5 years, is connected in the community. Those are kind of the people, if you have that database, those are the people that are able to skip the steps of, starting, introducing yourself. I mean, it's such an easy transition to tell them, hey, you already trust me, you already know me, I can help you with your real estate needs.
Well, every salesperson, is taught that database is your key to success. And, I still ask around and just randomly with agents and ask them how many people are in their database, which database is kind of a cold term. It's really people that you're connected with. And the more people in that circle, the better chance you have succeeding. But there's people that, that I've noticed that have come in from other parts of the U.S. and have come in and they go, they do open houses, they join clubs, I can tell pretty early in their career whether they're going to do well or not. And they, even starting from scratch, it's harder, but even starting from scratch, you can do the right things. And, the other thing too, Tyler, is there are a lot of lead generation platforms, the Zillows, the Realtor.com, when I started, there wasn't an internet. And really, I think that came in 92 or 3. where it just became a part of what we did, but it's a big part now because people like to search online, and it's a different group of personality and cultures as it was when different than when I started. And to be honest with you, it's it changes all the time. Nothing ever remains the same. So you just have to kind of understand it and follow it and see what is successful, and then you emulate it.
That's the fun part, is it's never the same thing that you're doing every day. Dad, we got time for one more question. Just give me a Chris Berman quick recap of advantages of joining Windermere to help you get started in your real estate career and take you to that next level.
Well, if you're new or if you're experienced, it's always good to hook up. It's branding is really what it is, and Windermere, their philosophy is quality service and customer first, and we hire professional staff, but we don't measure. There's no contest boards or the competition isn't amongst the people in the office. The competition is within yourself. So Windermere has top market share. It's won awards for, if they've done surveys, that it's the most trusted real estate company. That it actually had a survey that I'm really proud of. Is they surveyed fellow brokers, other real estate agents, and asked who would they want to be working with in a transaction. And I think it was like 69% said Windermere. So that in itself makes you very proud to be associated with it.
That speaks volumes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Perfect, Dad.
So,
well,
all right.
I really appreciate you taking time to call in. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, and we'll definitely have you back on the show. I really appreciate you taking time to call in.
All right. Thanks, Tyler.
All right, Dad. Talk to you soon.
See ya.
Bye.
All right.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're listening to Community Real Estate Talk Show. I'm your host, Tyler Freed.